There's been for centuries something menacing yet fascinating about the Chihuahua Skokie. Frank Wines.
The Skokie was the most enchanting spot on the whole North Shore. A peaceful marsh that attracted droves of deer and great flocks of birds. Jesse Gage Danley.
But its tranquil beauty belied the numerous threats it posed. It was 25 feet lower than the village. During heavy rains, all of western Winnetka flooded. The adventurers put their boats in the water just a few blocks west of downtown, at Provident, itself a riverbed. The swamp was also a perfect breeding ground for mosquitoes, clouds of them tormenting locals every summer. Then there were the fires. Every fall, self-igniting peat fires filled the sky with choking, acrid smoke. These could last for weeks at a time. Some underground fires smoldered for years. High winds sent embers sailing through the air, sparking numerous house fires. This at a time when firefighting involved horse-drawn wagons hauling barrels of lake water, and the alarm was sounded by hitting a broken train rim with a sledgehammer. There was little practical use for the land. The peat was harvested and used for stuffing mattresses and packing ice, but for little else. Winnetka's ice pond was located in the middle of Indian Hill. Farmers who dared graze their cows in the Skokie occasionally lost one in the mysterious bottomless sinkholes. One thing was certain: the village could not expand westward until the flooding problem was solved. From the beginning, residents knew they had to do something about the Skokie. The first solution was to dig a trench, commissioned in the 1860s by Winnetka founders Charles Peck and John Garland, Jr., an early attempt to drain floodwater from the Skokie Marsh into Lake Michigan. In 1864, locals began cutting a narrow ditch at a southeasterly direction toward Kenilworth, at the time a privately owned farm. Looking west, this is the Skokie Ditch, exactly where the Sears School is today. Note the train tracks in the center. This photo was taken before Joseph Sears purchased the land to create his utopian village. Technically, it worked, but the drainage ditch created a host of other problems. During the dry season, it turned the Skokie into a dust bowl. Strong winds blanketed Winnetka with dirt. It became even more susceptible to fire, and they burned with greater intensity. People used the ditch as a sewer, polluting the drinking water in the lake. And when the ditch overflowed, Kenilworth and Wilmette flooded. Sections of the original Skokie ditch can still be found today. This portion is on Birch Street near Hill Road. In Kenilworth, a number of minor bridges were built over the ditch, including this one on Sheridan Road. The most intact section of the old ditch runs through the Indian Hill Golf Course. Next, plans were drawn up to dredge a canal, one which could also be used for boating and recreation. But the village ran out of funds, and the project was abandoned. Then Frank Wines came up with the idea of digging a series of lagoons. In 1909, Winnetka made a formal request for state funds, but was turned down. Meanwhile, 3 east-west roads were built, encroaching on the swamp: Lake Avenue, Winnetka Avenue, and Willow Road. The problem only grew worse as an ever-increasing population demanded more space for development.